now call upon Mary to talk about one of the key thoughts and perspectives on a topic which most corporate boards and institutions are mulling about on conduct risk.
Good evening, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure for me to be your dinner speaker this evening. Thank you to Mr. Gross and Mr. Dirk to host this evening. I'm honored to present the dinner address, and I am the person who is standing between you and dinner. So bear with me. Chairing the Securities Board, the Exchange Board of India, understands the importance of capacity building. SEBI has been promoting capacity building since the founding, and with the founding of the National Institute of Securities Markets. Most recently, the NISM has embarked on the road to certification. This is an important step that builds on the base that is already very strongly built with so many branches already in the market. Also, NISM is focused on capacity building by building this huge and very impressive site here at the campus with the support of SEBI. It's an outstanding center for fulfilling its mission to impart knowledge in the financial services industry to candidates and employees. And in fact, it is so well known that they're building the new airport closer to this. So capacity building is the process through which individuals, organizations, and societies obtain, strengthen, and maintain the capacities to set and achieve their development objectives over time. Capacity is about growth. Growth of the individual in knowledge, skills, and experience. So why is certification so important to capacity building? I'd like to. Firstly, a certification attests to the knowledge and skills of a candidate. It's tested, vetted, current, and trustworthy. Certification goes beyond training, and you can build certifications over time, certifications of knowledge, certifications that become designations. And these designations not only attest to knowledge, but also the competence of someone to fulfill a role. Ideally, certification eventually combines that competency with continuing education and appropriate experience. All these elements contribute to the professionalization of the industry. All these elements build, first of all, the confidence of the individual. If you know what you're talking about, you can confidently talk about it. It also builds the confidence of the customer. But the key to building the confidence of the customer is ethics and integrity. So working in the financial services, be it bank, securities, or insurance, is all about advice giving and the products that come with that advice. That advice can be simple or complex. So recommending an investment strategy, or maintaining a portfolio on behalf of a client, or taking calculated risks, all require appropriate knowledge and a high degree of integrity. In order for a financial system to function, it has to be trustworthy. The financial services industry has been slowly tested with respect to integrity in recent years. Let me give you some examples, all of which are written in the paper. Internal policies led 5,000 employees at Wells Fargo to create fake accounts and then fund them in the accounts of their clients. That wasn't two isolated people. That wasn't a branch somewhere out there. That was 5,000 people following company policy and doing that. And we would all say, if we took an ethics test, I would never do that. So how did 5,000 people end up with India? Several banks in the UK have missold payment protection insurance, or PPI. They sold a product that was excessively expensive, designed to limit the chances of payouts to clients when they were genuinely ill, or was sold to people who were self-employed and who would eventually have no right to the insurance, and was designed with complicated claims procedures that would result in likely delays. It was all designed to be profitable. The LIBOR scandal that involved a plot by several banks to manipulate these interest rates for profit from 2003 to 2012 when the scandal broke. US, UK, and the European regulators have exacted fines of more than $9 billion for breaking LIBOR. And we won't mention rogue traders whose reckless behavior, either from lack of judgment or mismanagement by senior management, have resulted in colossal financial losses and bankruptcies. In every case, there's a clear disregard for the interests of the clients. These are big scandals. They've drawn wide media attention because of their scale and scope. They have caused regulators to recognize that how a firm, through its staff, conducts itself and the culture within which it operates are of equal importance to its effective operation and adherence to a set of rules. This recognition that rules are not sufficient to ensure the right outcomes for consumers and the markets has marked the beginning of the concept of risk. Conduct risk is a concept that originated in the UK and has been adopted more widely around the globe. Regulators have put focus on the root cause of conduct risk, that is, corporate culture. A number of regulators are embedding effective approaches to address conduct risk factors across many geographies. And here are a few just to show the breadth of the phenomenon. The implementation in the UK, effective in March 2016, to bring in the Senior Managers Certified Persons regime, increases organizational exposure to regulatory sanction and personal risk for senior and certified persons, those in charge, and essentially ensuring those in charge are accountable. This has never been done before. It has also been proposed that fixed income, currency, and commodities markets also be included in this regime. So it's widened. The Australian Securities and Investments Commission, ASIC, expects the firms it regulates to have developed conduct risk policies. In Canada, the client relationship model outlines disclosure requirements, avoidance of conflicts of risk, conflicts of interest, account suitability requirements, and performance reporting. All of that is coming in this year. The regulators are calling this the best interest regime. In the USA, where regulators are not generally very interested in culture, all of a sudden are seeking to ensure that clients' interests are front and center of the firm's thinking. And finally, the Banking Standards Board in the UK has done quite an extensive study of professional bodies and how professional bodies can help in contributing to raising the competency and ethical standards in financial services. So clearly around the world, there is a growing concern among regulatory bodies that corporate culture needs to be aligned with the interests of clients, and regulators are no longer taking a hands-off approach to conduct risk. Conduct risk, looking for a definition, is simply the risk that the firm's behavior will result in poor outcomes for customers. It's as simple as that. Among the elements to consider in conduct risk, there are two important ones. The first one is corporate culture, and the second one is the individual. So I'll deal with both. Let me start with corporate culture. Every firm has a unique culture that it needs to evaluate to identify, mitigate, and oversee the conduct arising from it. Essentially, a firm's culture, and by implication its management of conduct risk, can be assessed by looking at 3 indicators, originally identified by the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK. The tone from the top, the tone in the middle, and the tone at the tip. So let me deal with each one. And there are a number of questions that each level can ask itself about how it's conducting itself with respect to culture and conduct risk. The tone from the top, the governance of the firm, the process of decision making, and how these are implemented by senior management on the board. That is what the tone at the top is all about. So, some questions to be asked. Does the board and senior management lead by example? How do they deal with regulatory issues? What strategy and direction is set? What policies, procedures, and process do they establish? How do they make decisions and disseminate the message? And how are issues escalated? Those are all questions you can ask about the board, CEO, senior management. The tone in the middle, then, is the way that message from above gets translated into the day-to-day. What are the practices around recruitment, compensation, promotion? How do those all reinforce one message or another? So, is the compliance department referred to as a partner or a necessary evil? Ask some people who firms. Do employees sell inappropriate products to make their numbers? Who gets recruited? What behaviors are emphasized? What gets rewarded? And who gets a promotion? Those are all indicators of how the middle is operating and how that reinforces the message from the top, whatever that message is. And then there's the tone at the tip. So ultimately, what are customers actually experiencing when they buy a product or service from the financial services profession? So what is the behavior of the firm in any given market? What behaviors are encouraged and trained? Does the firm look for persuasiveness to sell a product, or listening skills to understand better the customer need? Do employees feel comfortable speaking up when they have observed poor behavior, or if they require assistance on appropriate next steps? Is that encouraged or discouraged? Clearly, everything starts at the top. A board and CEO should be looking to probe high-return products and business lines, to fully understand strategies for cross-selling products, to know how fast growth is actually obtained, and whether products are being sold in markets they're actually designed for. Most employees will never see the CEO or the board members. Their role models are not these, but they might be the top trader or the desk hands and their managers. Seeing a colleague rewarded and promoted, even if his or her behavior is not consistent with the values of the firm, sends a mixed message as to whether that behavior is tolerated in practice. And then beyond corporate culture, it comes down to the individual and the degree to which each individual is invested in prioritizing the interests of the customer, balanced with the interests of the firm, balanced with their own interests. It's a balancing act. You really have to try and juggle the three. When we get to Saturday, we're all here to talk a little bit about that in one of the sessions. So most employees act with integrity as long as they know what is right and what is wrong and follow through on their actions. Some employees know very well what ethical behavior is but they make decisions that fly in the face of ethical considerations. So professionalization and certification have an important role to play. Certifying individuals with the proper skills and competencies is a first step. People have to know what to do and how to do it right. They need both the know-how and the know-why to make decisions and client recommendations within their sphere. Ongoing education and training reinforces the competency. So it's not about getting one certification and then stopping there. It's about building on that knowledge all the time with increasingly more complex knowledge to be able to handle more complex situations. The code of ethics, either associated with certification or signed off with the bank, is a personal commitment to adhere to a set of behaviors that put the client at the center and protect the firm. And the two are important. You can't just protect the client and not protect the institution, because the institution is working in the interest of the client. They're putting their money there, so the two have to balance. The corporate culture must reinforce the message that the firm is acting in the best interest of the client, and certification can easily be undermined by a flawed culture. So professionalization is crucial at every level of the financial institution. Professionals who meet the client need to be competent and raise the confidence of the customer. The manager needs to know what to look for, how to supervise, how to ensure that the corporate culture is properly translated and reinforced. The governance and control functions, compliance, legal, risk management, and the board are critical in gathering and analyzing information from the business, which means they need to be equipped to ask the right questions of the business and assess relevant indicators as to a firm's culture and how staff are behaving with each other on markets and with customers, so that they can identify if there is the risk of an ethical project. At Moody's Analytics, we've developed an array of certifications, building on knowledge all the time from licensing right up to designations that people are required to have. And our regulator requires a lot of licensing, a lot of designations in order to be able to practice in the field. So the standards, developing standards and developing competencies has been our lifeblood over the last many years. We're also currently developing a conduct risk program. It's focused on conduct and integrity, using diagnostic questions and a model as a mechanism to get at the root of misconduct and to nudge behavior. There's lots of ethics courses out there, but what's really important in ethics courses is to be able to change that behavior, and how you do that is really, really important. We've also developed a program for the control functions. And we've done a rather unique program that adopts the techniques used in policing and investigative science in order to look at how auditors would ask questions. It's a different way of approaching that particular problem. So it is our belief that the corporate culture is a key partner in the certifications we offer. And so we're putting time into this area to look at the certifications, the ethics, and the people that have to oversee them. The financial institution is best protected if its corporate culture ensures that every employee has the interest of the customer and the interest of the financial institution at heart. Again, the two. An institution that is subject to failure, crippled with fines, or suffers damage to its reputation is not acting in the best interest of the public or the economy. All these outcomes are at odds with the interest of the client. So walking that fine line takes competence, first of all. It involves understanding how the business operates, how financial institutions make money, the technical competencies of the job, the ability to conduct a solution, to convey a solution, and to link that solution to the client's needs. can't just sell them stuff. You have to be able to figure out what they need and then adapt the products to them. So when we talk about the difference between distribution and advisory services, you merely have to bring the two more closely together. You can't just distribute anything to people. You have to be able to know what they need and what is the best product to suit their needs. So all of these things that can happen to a firm, fines and so on, need to be resolved. Building competence comes from a holistic approach to certification. And this in turn builds capacity. Capacity for clients, capacity for financial institutions, and capacity